Good day, people. Day 6. This presentation is for 2 classes today, the Religion 115 class and the Religion 239 class. For the people in Religion 115, the final slide is important for you. Welcome. 6 ways of being religious. First, you didn't get here by yourself. You had key people, mentors, teachers, parents. In the notebook that you have open in front of you, write down their names. Don't tell anybody. Maybe you'll want to text them up today, phone them, write them a letter, or if they're not around, talk to somebody about how important they were to your life. You're not alone. You have a great cloud of witnesses surrounding you. Guiding thought for today's lesson is that nothing is more dangerous than one idea when it's the only one you have. That one idea could be your idea of your country, your faith, your skin tone, and everybody else is kind of irrelevant or not as good as, because power will reinforce the one idea. Very undemocratic. Today we have the Six Blind Men and the Elephant as our text to watch. Here it is again.
It was 6 men of Indostan, to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, "God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall." The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, "Ho, what have we here, so very round and smooth and sharp? To me 'tis mighty clear, this wonder of an elephant is very like a spear." The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up and spake, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a snake." The fourth reached out his eager hand, and felt about the knee. "What most this wondrous beast is like is mighty plain to see," quoth he, "'tis clear enough, the elephant is very like a tree." The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, "E'en the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can, this marvel of an elephant is very like a fan." The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope, than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a rope." And so these men of Indostan disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right, and all were in the wrong. Moral: so often theologic wars, the disputants, I ween, rail on in utter ignorance of what each other mean, and prate about an elephant not one of them has seen.
So the takeaway. We're all impartial. We all have partial views, maybe not impartial views. Maybe we need other people to help complete our views. If we have one piece of the recipe, maybe other people have other pieces of the recipe that we can then make a more delicious meal from. So, more ideas. You can see where I'm going.
How should someone who believes that different religions can be equally valuable respond to someone who says that only their religion is true?
Now, I think we have to think about the sort of two concept of several religion, several truth, and the concept of one truth, one religion. Now, how to overcome that contradiction?
How to reconcile the two?
I think, like medicine, you see, according different illness, you need different medicine. So you cannot say this medicine, no matter according what illness, this medicine is best. This medicine is only the only medicine. You cannot say that. To some people, the God concept of God is so powerful, so forceful, in order to be more compassionate person and practice of tolerance. So to some people, that faith, that religion is much more suitable. And for that person, that religion is best because most effective. To such person, Buddhism is not good because not talking about creator like that. So this, similarly, some other people who may, according to due to mental disposition, is a Buddhist way of approach. Law of causality is more effective. So like that. So that's, I think, basis, you see, to
reconcile.
Reconcile.
Oh.
Mainly, I think, in the terms of individual, then the concept of one truth, one religion is relevant. In the terms of the community, in terms of several people, then they, particularly now like that, today's world, so as a religion, multi-culture, in that case, the several truth, several religion is relevant. I always emphasize the effectiveness or purpose of these different philosophy, then we will find the same sort of, or the effect, or same result. I think in a, let's say, the good restaurant, usually you see, we prefer variety of food. Just one kind of food, always, even you see breakfast, same, lunchtime, same, dinners, same. I think customer will reduce, less and less come. So variety of food is better, even the necessity for this physical. But then, this is a sophisticated mind, emotion. We need a lot of varieties. I think that's much better. Like that.
Okay. He mentions tolerance. We're going to be mentioning, going against that in just a minute, or at least editing that. So my purpose today is to introduce that there are multiple ways that we humans, even us in our classroom, are religious, and to suggest that there's only one way, maybe not enough. And I'll use you are or ultimate reality in this presentation, and here's what it can mean. So, back to Dalai Lama, he mentioned tolerance. I'm going to mention empathy as the better way. I'm sure he was thinking about this, but just the word choices. So, empathy is a kind of critical thinking that very few people get to. It's not just tolerance. Tolerance means I kind of will allow you to have your beliefs, but they're not as good as my beliefs. Or if you're I'll let you in the back door of my house, but not the front door. You know what I mean? Well, there's some equality, but basically there's this assumption that your way is better than their way. It means respecting and understanding another person's perspective as if we owned it. Question here is, would you be willing to be evangelized by someone else as much as you may want to evangelize someone else? Would you be willing to be evangelized? You can still have powerful a priori beliefs, but you can still have empathy for others as fellow human beings. So, can we suspend our non-negotiables? What are they? The things that we always go back to, our a priori beliefs that help us get through life. But can we suspend them long enough to hear another person? Empathy is demonstrated in this pretty powerful video.
In this heart lies for you a lark born only for you, who sings only to you. For only to adore you, my heart is for you, my love, my love, my love. This is my grief for you. For only the loss of you, the hurting of you, my love, my love, my love. There are rays on the weather. Soon these tears will have cried, all loneliness have died. My love, my love, my love. I will have you with me in my arms only, for you are only my love, my love, my love.
Easter egg. What was the name of the building in the background? So, of the 6 ways, let's get into our first way, is ritual. Ritual means action. It's action, action, action. Usually involves some sense of symbols, but it usually involves also the 5 senses. This action is performed in a kind of sacred space, such as a church or temple, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a river. But what it does so well, it connects the present moment with the past and the future of faith in a sacramental, that is a holy making mode, and may involve a religious professional, such as a priest. And the yellow writing is the takeaway. It seeks to recreate the original attitude, emotions, expressions of the founders. Because I wasn't there at the founding of my faith, so I do the rituals as the next best thing that I can do. Examples include baptism, special meals, pilgrimages, things like that. Rituals bring you close in. This video is from the Philippines. It is a little bit graphic to watch because of the blood. Comment. This guy is probably much stronger in his faith than before the ritual began. So rituals are faith-strengthening exercises. Jewish prayer at the Wailing Wall. Note the colors that are similar in the people's dresses. Note the singing. Note the flags. But this is at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, which is the foundation of the Second Temple, which is all they have left of that temple era. And it's the most holy naval place of Judaism. Okay, note that this is a special place. It's congregational, that is, people are singing together, which is also ritualistic, and each voice probably empowers and energizes the other voices around. So a strong ritual. They weren't there at the crazy time in the faith that was the Second Temple in Jerusalem, but by being here and praying and singing together, it's the next best thing. Muslim prayer, probably a mystery to you. This video unpacks it 5 times a day. Thanks so much. Second way out of the 6 is right action. Many of you are probably here. Think golden rule. Think You want to align your actions and behavior with the ultimate reality that created the world. Are you doing what that ultimate reality would want you to do? Are you harmonizing? You kind of think, what if my ultimate reality were running the world? How would it go? And so you kind of align your actions with how you imagine that to go. How's the world supposed to be? Examples are in Taoism, the Tao, which is right action, good action. Karma, which means action. Jesus' 2 commandments, love God and love neighbor. Micah 6:8, which I'll let you look up. And also working for social justice. Most folks are here. Works trump belief. No comment needed here. Of course, every faith, as we'll see later in the class, has a version of the Golden Rule. How did that happen? Third way of the 6, devotion. And this is when you actually fall in love with your ultimate reality. It becomes your all-encompassing focus. Maybe that guy who was bloodying himself with the cross earlier on, maybe he has this devotion as well. Because you want, above all, a personal relationship with your God or ultimate reality. Examples would be the Hare Krishna in Hinduism, Sufi in Islam, many evangelical and charismatic forms today. It ain't church, it ain't the faith until you have that devoted, personal relationship, one-on-oneness. Top left, they are walking on hot stones, barefoot, I think, and other ways to show their devotion to their God. Fourth way is probably new to you, but you've probably seen it in many other forms, just haven't used the word shaman. Some people say shaman. Shamanic mediation, not meditation. Because life sometimes gets overwhelming. People die, relationships crumble. You may have huge questions in your life. Wise or evil? Whom do I marry? What should I do with my life now? And so your goal is to get some psychic at-one-ment or atonement with your ultimate reality. And this calls for a shamanic figure, a figure who could be your pastor, or if you're Muslim, an imam, a priest, some kind of spiritual guide. So maybe you have that kind of person in your life now. Oftentimes in shamanic mediation, that shaman is going to go into a trance. You can call it prayer, you can call it meditation, but that person is going to go into a trance, taking your questions to the gods, to the spirit world. And then when that shaman is in a trance, he or she receives the answers. And when he or she comes out of the trance, they then tell you what the gods are saying to you. Shamanism in Chinese is a fascinating way to look at this. Is up here on the top, you have heaven or the sky. Down here you have earth. Here is the connecting bar between the two, so they're united. And in this union is two people. You can see by the legs, a person. Same idea here, but much more older ideogram. So the shaman is the person who ascends to heaven on behalf of people on earth and talks with people and helps them through life, through life's hard places. Video 1 is coming up. Video 2 is going to have some nakedness involved.
Pacha shakes for the first time in America. He is anxious to reestablish contact with ancestral spirits. Chickens are used to open the altar because they have special powers to see and know. That's why the spirit of a chicken is used as a messenger and guide on journeys to the spirit kingdom.
I think sacrificing a chicken is technically illegal, so do not do this at home. The second one involves a tribe in Venezuela in the jungle, and it does involve quite a bit of nudity and the use of hallucinogenic drugs. The child is sick, and the shaman is being asked to figure out why and to cure it.
Like eye drops, the juice of this liana soothes the irritation in the child's eye. They know 1,001 remedies for the ailments they suffer, but here illness has a religious significance, as the source lies in magic and spells. So, apart from the potions and ointments with which they treat the ill, the shamans must travel to the other world, the country of the spirits, to receive their advice. They are the only ones capable of undoing the spells. They have to ingest large doses of sakona, which makes them salivate profusely. The journey they must go on to find their gods and ask their questions is very long. The ritual chants and the rhythmic movements are efficient means of leaving their bodies, transcending to the world beyond, to open the door which allows their consciousness to enter a different reality. In this case, they are trying to cure a child who has a stomachache. The mother believes that a shaman from a nearby village sent this evil with a man who came to woo her and was rejected. This type of conflict is very frequent among the Samena. The problem is that there are fewer women than men, and this causes constant disputes. Kidnappings and the consequent clashes between tribes and villages are very frequent. The head shaman indicates what they must do in order to purge the evil from the body of the child. The others execute his orders while he continues to ingest the powerful hallucinogenic. The youngest rubs his hands over the stomach of the child to absorb the evil within. Then he turns and throws it away from the covered area into the jungle. The child will almost certainly be cured by the herbs they give him later, but the mother needs this cathartic rite in order to feel the spell has been broken.
Note the placebo nature. The woman is in the story, and she feels like if she does this shaman healing story, then her child will get well. It's that assurance that from the story. Korean shamanism, spent lots of years there looking at this. This is just fascinating. Women in Korea are more often shamans than men, because the major two faiths of Korea, Confucianism and Christianity, are both so male dominated. So when women women get their spiritual power by becoming shamans, and they can command a hefty price. One ceremony could cost you $10,000. Takeaways. You want to propitiate, that is, appease the spirit world, to align with it. And so to do this, you get help or advice from the spirits. But the shaman's your mediator between heaven and earth. He or she goes into an ecstatic experience, and then once you get your answer, and after that service, even though you may be not as rich, you do feel better. And if you've ever gone to a pastor or asked someone to pray for you, that is a shamanic activity. Fifth way is mystical quest. Not for everyone. You want to experience that ultimate reality without any mediation. That is without words. You just want to have the experience only. It gives you a purpose for living. Usually you come out of it with a very directed, intentional life. But it's not for everyone, because the ultimate reality, you see ultimate reality everywhere and in everyone. And that's difficult. Matthew 25, those verses speaks about when you are merciful to the poor, the sick, the hungry, the imprisoned, then you are doing the same thing to Jesus, which is quite mystical. So examples, Moses at his burning bush, Jesus in the desert with the devil, Buddha at his bow tree getting his enlightenment, Muhammad in his cave receiving the Quran. And virtually all religions will begin with, and to stay vibrant they must constantly engage in mysticism. But again, it's not for everybody. It gets real when joined with social change. And the example here is Martin Luther King's so-called breakfast table or kitchen table conversion. At one point of his life in the 1960s, he was quite distraught over threats to his life and whether his nonviolence was the way to go. So he has lots of doubts. And so he prays one night alone in the kitchen, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he hears a voice, the voice of God that says, "Martin, you are the right person at the right time. I am with you. Get up, doubt no longer." And based on that mystical experience, he was able to build his movement that we know of today. Key word on this page is interrupt. We need interrupting because we can get so busy with basically nothing, to interrupt our usual, interrupt our normal, so that that which is unusual, but been there all along, so the unusual may emerge. If you're golden already, and you let the world plaster over you its ideas and values, and you become kind of normal, maybe you need to interrupt that normality. And this is a mystical quest. Zen meditation, emptiness is the aim, because only an empty vessel can be filled. Only an emptied runway can allow a plane to take off. Christian meditation, the labyrinth, of which Mars Hill now has one in back of the chapel. Go see it. The Whirling Dervishes is a part of the Islamic faith. They are Sufis, S-U-F-I, and you'll get this if you've ever been a child and you twirled around and around and around and around and you felt dizzy. You got in kind of a proto-altered state of consciousness. This can go on for hours, but note here you have two forms of being religious combining quite nicely. You have rituals, and you have this mystical quest. Sixth way, if you're a religion professor or a religion major, this may be something that is more appropriate to you. You seek understanding in your brain, faith seeking understanding. The Latin fides quaerens intellectum. You use your reason, use your thought, critical thinking, historical understanding, and what happens is you produce things called theology or apologetics. So something like C.S. Lewis and his Mere Christianity is the most famous example. That is, you don't apologize for your faith, but you talk about your faith in a way that might persuade others. Sort of like what I'm asking you to do with the hook and ladder. But unlike the mystical idea, this assumes you can actually talk about religious experience. Several examples of this. So, finally, to review, there are 6 ways of being religious, maybe more, but they all point inward to an ultimate reality, whether you are doing rituals or action or devotion or shamanic mediation or mystical quest or reason inquiry. Each one of them takes you to your ultimate reality. But again, they're not for everybody. And no one can stand by himself. As we've already seen, you can have 2 or more going on at the same time. But think about your own abilities. You may have a strong point in one of these, just like you have one of your 5 senses is stronger, eyes or hearing maybe. You maybe have one of these spiritual skills that is stronger than the other. But they could overlap and cross-fertilize other ways. So you can have multiple ways of being religious in one person. And each way may bring out more balance to the rest. You don't want one way to kind of dominate. Examples, your fingers. You have one fist, but you have one finger. Which is the most important finger for grasping? Is it really the pinky or is it the thumb? Would you want to cut off one? So you need all 5 maybe. Or colors in a rainbow, which is the most important. Or maybe a song with various instruments. First you have them go solo, and then you have them join together. For example, if you know only A megahertz 440, how will you know B? If you know only the color blue, light blue at that, then how will you understand what yellow or red means? So if you know only one thing, you know nothing. Finally, for the Religion 115 class, next time we have a fishbowl. I'm asking for one volunteer from each thinking study group to sit in a circle in the middle of the class, but I need that volunteer. Please get in touch with your group today and figure out who that is. So there's a formal Moodle that I want you to read beforehand as well. So I'll see you Monday in the fishbowl. That's it, everybody. Thanks so much for being here.